for budgeting purposes, ideally ho, nandiyan na ho yung geotag. At hindi lang ho yung geotag, yung breadth and width, yung laki at haba po lapad at haba po nung proyekto, kailangan. But understanding engineering po, if there are any adjustments midstream, tulad po nung may dumating na consultant at sinabi sa kanilang hindi dyan dapat, dito dapat, pero may budget na po. As long as all the documentation po on why there is a change in location or any changes to the project, tulad na ho ng variance order, kailangan ho naka-geotag na rin po. So, as long as we can follow the trail po, from the time the project is conceptualized until the time the project is in its warranty period po.
Pero, Commissioner, yung ilalabas yung memo ngayon is no geotag, no payment. Ganun ba yun?
Mr. Chair, yun po ang magiging isa sa mga kondisyones. Actually po,
to put it simply,
Actually, Mr. Chair, as early as 2020, DPWH actually has a requirement that no geotag pictures, no payment. Kasama ho yun sa mga kondisyones nila. Ang nangyari ho, may geotag pictures. Hindi nga lang ho yun tamang litrato. So, nabayaran pa rin ho. One of the items that we're finding right now po sa fraud audit.
Pero yung ganun is, ano na yan, human intervention na yan. Or, diba? Or lack of it, in other words.
Yes po.
Kasi kung lolokohin mo talaga yung dokumento, loloko mo talaga yung dokumento. Diba? Kung hindi mo rin pag-aaralin yung dokumento mabuti, makakalusot talaga ito.
That's why, Mr. Chair, they were supposed to do two things. A picture that is printed out with the geotag info, and the picture is also uploaded to the system of DPWH. Yung metadata o yung properties po ng picture, hindi ho rin tumutugma sa litrato. So, namamanipula din. That's the reason why DPWH and COA are in present discussions po to avoid a possible biased party, either the contractor, DPWH, or any of the engineers, to manipulate the geotag data. We're now looking into the satellite geotagging po. Mas mahirap kausap po at mas mahirap magloko po si satellite provider po.
Kaya ba yan this coming 2026?
Nag-uusap po kami ng DPWH. Actually, the technology is there. Ang kailangan na lang ho pag-usapan would possibly be the rates, the frequency of use, at ano ho yung kinakailangang makuha ho namin in the geotagging requirements po. Yung frequency and resolution din ho ng litrato, critical din po. So, yun ho yung pinag-uusapan ho ngayon with DPWH po.
And then your last reform is pre-audit.
Pinag-aaralan po yung pre-audit. Pinag-aaral ho namin, we will need practically 2.7 billion pesos annually just to do pre-audit of DPWH alone. Wala ho tayong pinag-uusapang iba pang ahensya. But if we could do the integration of systems po, more of, ang magiging focus po natin is data analytics, then we can really impose the geotagging. We could trim down the requirements for the pre-audit po. In the meantime po, it may be a requirement that if we do pre-audit, yung budget na naipresenta ho kanina, na 15 billion ho, medyo kukulangin po kami ngayon ng konti. So kung kaya ho nating tiisin na mapagbigyan ho ang COA ng karagdagang budget for a pre-audit, we will try to fill in everybody that needs to be there. Dahil ayaw din ho naming mapilay ang operasyon, babagal ho ito pag iilan pa rin ho ang auditors doing the pre-audit, especially just for DPWH po.
Pros and cons ang pre-audit, di ba? Ang pre-audit, una is sigurado tayo, at least may makikita nila yung project at mababayaran lang kung nandyan yung project. Ang downside niyan, mabagal. Di ba? May delays, so baka madali naman yung payment at wala na makikipagnegosyo sa gobyerno. So may pros and cons yan na kailangan pag-aralan no? But ako I agree with Senator JV, ang COA kasi is the last line of defense eh. Pag lumampas to sa COA, wala na. Talagang hindi na natin makokontrol yung ginagawa nitong mga tiwaling mga kawani ng gobyerno. So, importante lang na ma-empower yung COA para masigurado na lahat ng binabayaran tama. Itong pre-audit, we will require 2.7 billion in addition.
Yes po. That is only for DPWH po.
Okay. And you can assure government that it will not delay, kasi we have to balance the delay rin dahil infrastructure is important to nation building, literally. So, kaya ba yun na hindi madidelay?
Kaya po ang proposal po ng COA po, as a more holistic approach. Kung manual po rin ang audit ho namin, that's a purely pre-audit. But if we combine this po with the geotagging, and we also have the system integration where the data is accessible to COA for the agencies involved po, there we can balance po the pre-audit, which is really manual, and a more digitalization approach, which is data analytics approach, para mas madali ho namin ma-flag yung mga projects po. So, yung 2.7 po, if the system integration and geotagging can immediately be done, that can even lessen the extent of work we need to do sa pre-audit. So, may balancing lang po.
Okay. Well, kami naman, ang goal namin is to assure the public this flood control mess will not happen again in 2026. We can only do so much in the budgeting. Once na-approve namin yung budget, executive na yan, we will leave it to the executive to execute. Pero kung pareho pa rin yung gagawin ng executive at hindi natin mahuhuli, magiging problema tayo. How about yung human intervention? Kasi nga, diba, ngayon we're talking about, lumalabas doon sa press release ni Secretary Dizon, there are about 421 na ghost projects nationwide, no? So, in other words, may mga areas na nalalampasan ang COA in terms of documentation. So, and this is contingent to the manpower. So, how do we, itong mga issues of manpower, the lack of manpower, the integrity of the manpower, the tools that the manpower use, how do we address this? No? Kasi nung narinig ko yung 421, nagulat talaga ako dahil that's nationwide. No? So how do we hindi lang to Bulacan, ha? No? Nationwide to. So how do we address concerning the manpower issues, Chairperson?
Thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. First of all, before po answering your question, we would like to submit din po the draft memo circular on geotagging para kung meron po kayong suggestions or meron po kayong mga gusto i-improve doon ay magpapatulong po kami sa inyo. And now, tungkol po dun sa tanong ninyo, Mr. Chair, ang una po namin gawin is yun pong we have to pag magligo doon po kami ng tao sa baba. Kasi sometimes yun pong our regular stay po ng isang auditor is around 3 years. So, baka po, it breeds familiarity po with the auditee. So, kasi in ang auditor po stays in the same building and of course interacts also with the auditee. So, important po doon, especially now it's 2026, ay magkakaroon po ng changes po doon sa baba. And then, ang gagawin po namin is baka po mahirapan tayo dun sa increase ng manpower. So ang gagawin po namin would be surprise visits from the central office dun po sa bawat area para po para po tayong may conductor na titsekin yung trabaho ng bawat auditor sa baba periodically. Tuloy-tuloy na po yun, Mr. Chair.
I'll leave it to the Blue Ribbon and the ICI to investigate kung ano nangyari ngayon. Ang concern lang naman namin is paano hindi maulit to. And isa sa mga nakikita namin, aside from the budgeting process, is really to empower COA, to make sure that COA is empowered na meron kayong tools, may tao kayo, meron kayong yung mga pangangailangan nyo nabibigay para hindi na maulit to. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga, kahit nahigpitan namin yung budget, tanggalin yung flood control, andyan pa rin yung kalsada, andyan pa rin farm to market road, andyan pa rin irrigation. Once na-approve na yung budget, well, hands off na ang Senado dyan eh. No? It's really the executive na, and COA, no? Kasi kayo on the ground, you have presence on the ground. No? Kaya we have to, I just want to make sure na well-equipped ang COA and supported when it comes to performing its duties. No? Para hindi na maulit to. And then, in terms of disciplinary mechanisms among your employees, kasi nabanggit narinig nyo naman siguro sa privilege speeches, sa mga testimonies ng mga resource persons or mga witnesses, nababanggit ang COA, no? At meron ba kayong disciplinary reforms, no? Dahil nababanggit yung COA in many of the testimonies dito. So, ano mga disciplinary reforms are you undertaking in order to make sure that integrity is maintained among the ranks?
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. First of all, Mr. Chair, meron kaming existing and we will implement it. And sabi ko nga po kanina, we will submit to you yun po mga initial findings na basis po ng mga actions na gagawin po namin. And I think maybe we can increase the penalties dahil matagal na po itong hindi napapalitan, matagal na po itong hindi na-amend. And because of the increase of transactions, because of the increase of number of transactions and the amount of transactions, I think it's about time po na yung penalties po natin ay taasan din po. In the same breath, Mr. Chair, kasama din po naman doon sa amin pong amendment ng law, na kung saan po ay tinutulong kami ni Senator Padilla, ay nagpapatulong sana po kami to exempt our employees from the salary standardization. Dahil po isa po sa challenges po namin is how to keep the people. Pagka pumasok po sa amin ang auditor, technical people, after being trained for 2-3 years, ay pinapahirit na po kasi yan ng ibang offices. There are offices that are exempted from SSL. So, lilipat na po sila doon kasi mas mataas po ang sweldo, mas mataas po ang natatanggap po nila ng sahod. Kaya po, one of the reasons po na kung mapapansin nyo po yung number of personnel po namin na hindi namin napupuno is because po of the churn. Marami po nagre-retire, marami nagre-resign, pero mas konti po ang pumapasok. Actually, nag-positive lang po kami sa hiring ay 2024. Dahil po nung 2020, 21, 22, 23, marami po nag-opt for early retirement because of the pandemic. Dahil ang trabaho po ng auditors is physical, you have to be present, you have to be there to do the cash count, you have to be there to do ocular inspection. So marami po sa kanila nag-opt na po for early retirement. And then yun nga po pumapasok ay hindi po ganun karami because of the limitations po dun sa level of salary that we can offer. Ayun lang naman po. Salamat.
I think that's also part of yung batas na pinupush ni Senator Padilla. We can study that because nakita ko nga dito sa inyong report or dito sa briefer namin, there are about 4,000 unfilled positions. No? I think because nga maraming nagre-resign, pumupunta sa ibang agency. I guess yung iba nagpa-private sector pa, no?
Meron pong nagpupunta sa private sector, meron din po nagpupunta sa ibang offices, meron din naman po nag-abroad. Yun po ang reason kung bakit po ganun.
So kulang na yung tao ninyo, marami pang umaalis. No, yun ang problema. I'll go to so Chairman, just to complete this, itong issue na ito. Yun na nga, ang COA is the last line of defense and umaasa kami sa inyo, sa lahat sa inyo, na itong 2026 and beyond, hindi na mauulit itong nakita natin. At nakita ko na meron kayong mga reforma, including yung increasing the penalties as part of your disciplinary mechanisms.